Forgiveness. The act of forgiveness toward others and ourselves is a big player in our spiritual life. The topic of forgiveness is a big eternal topic in all religions. How do we get it? How do we exercise it? How do you receive it? And it's almost a sacrament that is essential for spiritual living. And for the purpose of that is very, I think, intimately understood with all of us. Being forgiven for our own transgressions, our own sins, is what heals our soul. The forgiveness of our sins is what reconciles us to God. Forgiveness reconciles us back to order. When hurtful actions, evil actions occur, it takes things out of order into some kind of chaos. And then we go and we try and reconcile and have forgiveness, which is a place of order between each other. And that dynamic also happens internally as well, when we don't forgive ourselves. And that creates a whole system of problems within us. When I decide not to forgive myself, I am deciding to hold on to my own anger to myself and resentment and guilt and the shame. And that becomes a platform that I live by. And that becomes difficult in my furtherance of interacting with others and God and everyone else. I'm always amused by when people say, oh, I can forgive other people, but I just can't forgive myself. I'm not sure that's a true thing, because you can't give away what you don't have. So it's important that we understand how we forgive ourselves. And I know at times it feels like you just can't. And that becomes, again, the spiritual issue. Is how do I and allow myself to be forgiven by God and to forgive myself? And then you can have forgiveness for others, because you actually can give it away. So I think it's important to understand this. There's forgiveness of God, forgiveness of myself, and then forgiveness of others. I understand that forgiveness is a very tough topic, because there are a lot of things in life that seem unforgivable. And it's a true thing. I've worked with a lot of people who have had tremendous acts of evil happen to them that seem unforgivable. Certainly unjustifiable. Definitely evil. And maybe not even forgivable for the human being. It apparently seems like there's only some things that God can forgive, and more difficult for man to do, and it's understandable. But here's the strange but true thing about forgiveness. When we decide to forgive anything, it doesn't mean we condone it. It's not about condoning anything. The idea of forgiveness, as we even see in the gospel message, is to bring peace between two things. To bring order, if you will. To not allow the transgression to define the moment. When we decide to forgive, we're making a decision to let go of, to no longer hold against. When I decide to forgive myself, I'm deciding to not hold against the situation that I've done against myself. When we decide to, let me back up here. When things happen to us from other people, they hurt us, they betray us, they violate us, and shame us. We're now left with the wound and the feelings and the memories and the experience. And it reflects a message of how people think we are, who we are. Here's the challenge in forgiveness. What we decide to hold on to in life almost dictates how we go about life. What we pick up and gather, what gets thrown at us, and what we hold on to helps define the journey, defines our walk, our path, how heavy we are, how full we are. What you hold on to defines the journey. What we decide to forgive is our decision of what we decide to let go of. We can decide to hold on to our anger. That's very powerful. We can hold on to our resentments. They're bitter. And we can deceive ourselves to think that, oh, it's okay. We can even deceive ourselves that we've forgiven somebody, but we really haven't. Well, here's the thing. That puts us in a very bad spot. It's a false stance. It's kind of arrogant. I appreciate the lesson I received from Dr. Jordan Peterson from his book, The 12 Rules of Life. He calls this the evil triad: resentment, deception, and arrogance. Resentments of our life, of course, are the wounds and the things that we're angered by and for, things that we resent and we're bittered by. And we deceive ourselves in how we hold that or don't hold that. And then we don't deal with our resentments and our deceptions, how we deceived ourselves and others. We stand falsely in pretense, and that's arrogance. Those three things will wreck your soul if you don't deal with them and forgive them. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts we get to do and to receive. I hope you understand that forgiveness is the most powerful thing and the most healthy thing you'll do in your life towards somebody and yourself. When you forgive someone, you are healing them. We don't look at it that way often, that forgiveness is an act we go towards somebody who's hurt us to make them better. I know we think it's about them to make us better. That's backwards psychology. When we forgive, we are trying to make the effort to heal them. So you don't have to hold on to that stuff anymore either. Resentment, deception, and arrogance, the things that will take us down. But forgiveness is the solution to that soul killer. So forgive yourselves, as Christ forgave you, and forgive one another. Thanks.